Do you want to bust your sales quota? Do you want to join the ranks of top 1% sellers? The Top 1% Sellers podcast gives you the insights and the tools to help you achieve your sales greatness. The podcast features sales and services professionals, leaders, and experts to give you the edge you're looking for. Here's your host, Ash Sadiq.
And the outside-in view of what makes it a better experience for the customer. If sitting in customer service means the handoff between service and the customer success manager is more seamless, that's fantastic. But I don't know why that would be the case. Because if everybody had the 360 view of the customer, it shouldn't matter where the person sits, right? They should have a similar experience. So this goes back, to this whole conversation of the CEO has to set the mandate, has to be in the DNA, the organization has to support it, everyone's metrics follow it. Right? And then where people reside is less important from the customer's perspective.
Exactly.
But it's definitely more important from a leader's perspective of I want to control it, right?
Absolutely true. And I want to remind people listening in that they can definitely submit questions. I'll definitely look at those and share them with Tiffani as well as we have this conversation. And we're also live on Facebook as well. If you're watching and submitting questions, we'd love to hear from you. That makes a lot of sense, Tiffani. And as you're really talking about all these different things, do you think the software world has figured out what the tools are in order to enable such an environment, sort of from an outside-in view?
I think lots of companies are going down this path, right? I mean, people ask me often, look, you joined Salesforce, right? And you came out of the analyst community. That doesn't happen very often. Yes. And I would say, one of the main reasons I joined the company was just because of their laser focus on customer success and customer experience, right? And so I think obviously we're a great example of that, but there are others. But what's interesting is thinking about that definition that customer success or customer experience, you really need to hone in on, you cannot service every customer the same.
Yes.
Right? Even if you want them to be successful, it's expensive to really handhold at mass. So how can you use technology? How can you use analytics and intelligence and a lot of the things that are coming forward to help you do the long tail of customer, service, even marketing and selling in a way that makes them feel like it's a human experience, but it's a combination of sort of the technical side and the human side, so that the human side isn't quite so bad, right? The human side it's not so noticeable between when you're dealing with a human versus when you may be dealing with a bot, right? So.
Wonderful. No, that's fantastic. So we'll definitely pause for a second and
thank you for tuning in to the Top 1% Sellers podcast. Give us your suggestions and guest recommendations by emailing us at ash@connectwithash.com. Thank you also for sharing this podcast with your colleagues and social media contacts. To connect with us on LinkedIn, please send a connect request to ash@connectwithash.com. See you at our next episode. Thanks for tuning in.